Hello.
Hey everyone, I'm Kayla.
And I am Em, and you are watching The Witching Hour. Welcome. This is where you are. This is our humble abode. We're not playing video games, but this is a Twitch show. It's brought to you by the Trident Network. The Trident Network is a three-pronged network offering you digital content, podcasts, live shows. They can help you make your shows. We're always looking for cool people, so give us a follow, give us a check out. The Trident Network is literally all run by one incredible person. Her name is Val, but in this context, she is our Sky Mommy. Sky Mommy is with us right now. How are you doing?
Hi, my sky babies. I'm so glad to be back with you. It's been a long time.
It has. I will say though, I needed a break from everything. Like I wish I could have. It was so nice to pause from this, but I wish I could have paused also from life. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, I do get
Another
that.
little
Yeah.
shutdown would have been kind of nice. It's
Yeah.
every time I mean, seeing you once a month is not enough already, but like every time I see you and it's been like 3 months, I'm like, I feel like I'd pull towards you. So it's very nice to
Yes.
meet you guys. Yeah, this is the witching hour. We all love each other.
We do.
We do. We're having a good time. We are emotional beings and we're here to express that. And no one can stop us.
And no one can stop us. We have a script for this show. Okay.
And the thing that's most important about the script is that we stick to it like a Bible.
Yes. And it's a live document, so we can edit it as we go. It's
Yes.
very so you might have gathered this is a pretty safe space. So please just we talk about witchy stuff, we talk about astrology and tarot, and here's the thing, we take it like very seriously and at the same time not seriously at all. So I just, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping out there. This is a very nice loose space to just talk about these kinds of things. um so just get comfy, grab a blanket, light up a joint, or grab a beverage of choice. Kayla, anything else to add?
No, I think that that's great. I actually, what you were saying though, did remind me of something that my partner and I were talking about. We almost feel like everything is so serious that nothing is serious anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
feel here. That's the energy I'm bringing here.
The snake is
Okay.
eating its tail.
Yes.
Hey,
What is that?
let's
Aurora?
Ouroboros.
Yes. There we go.
that's the kind of energy we're going to be bringing forward into this show. So again, just ground yourself in your surroundings, get comfy, make sure you're surrounded, just turn off your lights or turn them on, whatever you want. uh this is our spiritual plane, and I think it's time to open up that circle together.
Yeah. So right as we go ahead and travel to our spiritual plane, let's all take a collective deep breath in and let that one out. Feel the ground underneath you and the air in your lungs. Take another deep breath in. And on this exhale, let out a sound that makes you feel powerful.
And with this breath, now we
Please.
fly. I don't have weed this time around, you guys.
Oh, well, I do. I have a weird day and I would love to be not high, but a little high.
It's a very intentional thing of you to
Yeah.
do. I
Thank
like
you.
that. Wow,
Fun
thank you.
fact about M is that they're in the same exact location as me.
So
Yeah.
I feel left out. So just to let everybody know, I'm feeling left
Yeah, so Val and I are in the same house. Arya's in the same city. Kayla's on a different coast.
out.
So we're just different levels of close today.
And that's why physically we're not together, but metaphysically all the time we're together.
Metaphysically, this is where we are. This
Every
is our spiritual plane. This is where we come to think, where we come to smoke, where we come to hash things out. This is a pretty exciting episode, I will say. We took a couple months break, and we're back with a little bit of a reformatted script, some new segments. So, please be brutally honest with us. If you want the old stuff back, tell us. If you hate the new stuff, tell us. If you have positive things to say, also tell us.
I would say actually I have new boundaries. I love the sandwich method. Tell me what you liked, then what you don't like, and then tell me one nice thing about myself. That's how actually I would like to receive criticism from this show.
That's very valid. I'm gonna say you can say negative things to me, you can complain, but only if you have a solution to it, right? So if you're,
As
I hate this, tell me why and tell me how to be better.
give me evidence and give me a way to move forward.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing. Just, yeah, don't be lazy, is all I will
Yes,
say.
exactly.
But yeah, the chat is our main connection to you, our lovely audience. So please, yeah, just please, this is an interactive show. Throw your thoughts, throw tag people, share your we get a lot of strange thoughts in this show from ourselves and our audience, and we're working together. So speaking of which, this is a brand new segment that is kind of a half a segment because I didn't even make a title for it really. But we were already doing this thing where we were kind of all checking up top, and we were doing it really quick. And I would like this to just be a very nice, like, we're all, where are we coming from today? A little check-in, a little grounding. I was calling it navel gaze. And Kayla, I don't know if it, I don't even know if
Okay.
it reads.
Now let me read my line. Let me read my line. Okay, thank you for explaining the name because I was too embarrassed to ask you what navel gaze meant in our text thread.
Right. So I didn't, so do
I was
you,
like,
so
the army?
that's what it looks like. Okay, so this is a good time in the chat. Please tell me if this makes any sense or if it does make sense, but it's just bad, you know? So did you get that I was referring to like navel gazing? Or did you?
After, like, as of yesterday, I did get it.
Okay, listen.
But prior to that, which we have been talking about it for at least 7 days. So there were
Yeah.
7 days of me being confused, but going, I really trust him. He knows what he's doing. We're going to go with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and you know, I love that. And I love that, but I like that sometimes it's both of us being like, "Oh, I thought you knew what you were doing." This is I think it very well might be that the response to this is like, "We get it. We don't like it." And if that's the case, fucking tell me. But we're going to keep checking in no matter what the title is. This is just something I thought of when I was stoned and I stuck
And
with
I
that.
love it.
Yeah.
I love a pun,
Um,
so I'm in full support.
I like
Thanks,
fun
guy.
too. Wow. So here we are, just a couple of navel gaze. Well,
And I mean, and what, and my version of it is I am in a Navy outfit, but it's gay.
I think maybe the outfit is pretty gay.
But mine is extra. Mine is my version of gay, which is always like veering slut. That's like my style. I've decided, okay, here's where I'm coming from today. I've been a little angry and I feel a little like Friday the 13th, new moon hungover. And I've also decided that in my 30s, people are always like, you're gonna have new style. Okay, here's what I'll say. I've always dressed on the slutty side. I love it. I love that about me. It took me a really long time to love that version of myself. And I've been a little shamed for it as I have gotten older. And I was like, okay, well, maybe when I'm in my 30s, like that's when I'll want to start dressing more conservative. I've actually been wanting to dress sluttier, and that's okay. And I'm just going to do it. So I'm feeling very like rebellious. I'm feeling very Lilith energy. I'm feeling very fire. I might hiss and scratch at somebody at any moment. So it's kind of fun to play with. Fun to play with that energy.
I do like that. Very like powder keg.
Yeah.
Today. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel angry well, I'm always kind of angry about something, but I feel very like I had a very like long, so it was like just a perfect storm at work where like I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's just like things were delayed where like I had to stay an hour later. And then I came straight here. So like I think my headspace is like I have not really stopped since I got up this morning. I got up, went to work, came straight from work to here where Val and I were doing some techie stuff, and then came straight into the show. So there's like I feel like because of that, I feel good, but it's like I haven't stopped and processed anything. So I think those things are just going to be like maybe flying out of my mouth throughout the
I
show,
love
like
that.
I processing something that happened like 7 hours ago. Um, yeah, my eclipse was really weird too. I had a weird Friday night, and I felt very like dream state like all of Saturday. Um, like waking dream kind of a thing. I don't know. Does that track at all? Like,
Yeah, it does a lot where you're like, I know that I'm awake, but this actually could be a dream. Like if I woke up in the next second, it would make sense that this was a dream.
yeah, just very strange things with like hands getting like sometimes when that happens to me, my hands will get like numb, and I'm just like, does that mean I'm dreaming? Because I've heard people say that to tell if you're lucid dreaming and not rub your hands together because you can't do that in your dream. I don't know how true that is, but there were moments during the day where I was like rubbing my hands and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Am I fucking dream? So that was what I rode through the weekend.
Interesting energy.
Very interesting energy. Yeah. We'll get into
Have
it
you
more.
ever, do you feel like what do you feel like your relationship to your dreams are currently?
I don't dream a ton. Well, I think currently, lately, I've been smoking more, which suppresses your REM cycle, I know. And so I haven't been having as many vivid dreams lately. So maybe there is some sort of like daytime processing going on because of that, you know?
Yeah, interesting. I was
Something.
going to say too, because I have read a few books and articles on lucid dreaming, because I don't know how to fix the awake problem. But I'm like, well, but if you could know if you were dreaming while you were dreaming, they're
Yeah.
saying if you were try to lucid dream, like, so when you're awake, every time you walk through like a door frame or something, you like look and you're like, I'm awake. And that
Ooh.
like will help you process, because then when you're in a dream, if you like notice that you're looking through a door frame and then it changes, you're like, oh, this is a dream, this isn't like reality. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And I think like I've heard like versions of this before. I think my fear is that sometimes my dreams are like very like mundane in that they very much like mimic my day or like my life, or like I could have like that weird thing where you go about your day and then you wake up and you're like, oh, now I guess I'll start my day. So I'll play around with it a little bit, but I've just been like more often lately been asking myself if I'm dreaming, which I don't think.
I I do feel that way around new moons a lot too. Not that that's the only thing that's happening with you, but I get that. It's a freak show sometimes when you're like, where am I?
Yeah, it's weird stuff. We'll talk about it, yeah, with the eclipse and everything. But yeah, Scott, mommy, anything you wanna? We were having a heavier conversation before this, and I one thing Val said that I think was I agree with is that this is all there. We're finding bright spots, and this is one of those bright spots.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are very much a bright spot in my month, so I'm always
Yes.
excited to be in this space with you guys. So like all this mental clutter is happening, and at the same time, like in the middle of today, I was like stressed at work, and then I remembered I was gonna be seeing you guys later today. I'm like, oh right, I can just unload all of my feelings into this show. So it was a very nice. So
Absolutely.
it's easier to leave things behind coming into this space for sure.
100.
It's a
Yeah,
special space in space with you two.
especially
Yeah.
in space with no beds.
100.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice little grounding chat with you.
Yeah. We're here. We're real
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, we're real people. I'm not looking at the chat yet, but hey, if you guys hated it and you're like, that's a really slow way to start the show, fucking tell us because we're trying shit out today.
Or tell us how you're feeling. I bet you're just actually jealous that maybe nobody's asked you how you felt today. How have you felt today?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Audience, feel free to
Yes.
tell us where your head's at. Where are you at coming into this today? We hope that this is also a place that makes it easier for you to just like leave it behind, throw all your shit in here, because we gotta have a space for that.
100.
One hundo. Well,
100. Well, I love this because it has made me feel closer than I've ever felt before to y'all.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's really grounded us as we embark on this show, which is really a mystical journey. And gosh, Kayla, you know how I like to begin my journey is
Um,
well, I'm so glad you asked. I like to begin with something that grounds me, that makes me feel like the earth around me is on my side. I am a Taurus, as we know. I like to feel connected to the earth around me.
yes. It kind of sounds to me like you're talking something kind of like about a sacred herb, which brings
Uh,
us to our tried and true first segment, herb of the day.
the day. Now, this is not an herb. As we again, we're trying new stuff out. This is a new take on an old segment. Usually, herb of the day is an herb that you can typically smoke. It usually has like a medicinal effect. For pre-rolls, if you want, trying to quit smoking, you want to make an herbal joint. If you want to put it in a tea, we usually pick something like marshmallow root or something. I really love because in our live document that Kayla and I throw our ideas in, Kayla just put shrooms question mark and then in parentheses, is it an herb? And we just left it. So just to clarify, it's not an herb, but that is okay.
But here's what I'll say as a double Pisces, it gives the same vibe of an herb.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's herb coated, I will say.
Yes.
I will say
Yes.
yes. And again, we usually pick things that you are able to smoke. What I will say about this is technically, if you wanted to, you could ground it up into powder and you could roll it. It will not do anything as far as
It sounds like it would hurt.
it's very, very harsh. So I went on, listen, my research is two-pronged. There's academic and then there's Reddit, because sometimes Reddit has the answer.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
and I, because like when you search like, can you smoke shrooms? There's no academic articles about grinding up shmoo. Yeah.
Name one
So
scientist that's putting their name on that.
scientists hate them,
Yeah.
actually. So what I gathered is that you can do it, but it's very, very harsh. It doesn't feel, and it also just doesn't give you any really like hallucinogenic effects that you would do through like drinking it in a tea or ingesting it in some way.
Yeah.
So we would recommend not trying to smoke it.
Oh, but I would recommend trying it. And we're talking about psilocybin mushrooms, but also other mushrooms also have great benefits. I have shroom capsules that do have this kind of mushroom in it, but then it also has like reishi and like lion's mane and other stuff too. So it's like an all-encompassing little microdose, and it's the best time I've ever had in my life.
One benefit, I hate that you live so far away, but it is a benefit to have Kayla in LA because she can give us all of that kind of information from that coast.
Yes.
I like that this, so you chose this, and I'm curious what struck you to choose it for this episode. I like that it's streams because I was just talking about how I'm in kind of like more of a dreamlike state lately, and that's kind of how I feel the times I've been on shrooms.
Uh,
What made you want to throw that in for this episode?
I just feel like sometimes, I'm not sure how to, I don't really drink that much anymore, but I feel like sometimes when I was processing through harder things or like preparing myself for going into the winter months, which is like historically for me, like I deep dive a little bit more into myself. I learn deeper lessons. And I think that I intentionally use shrooms to kind of help me open up to maybe some harder things that, raw dog and Kayla just can't do. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do that by myself at that moment. And I guess I've been feeling like that time is coming up for me. And I've been thinking about taking a little bit more of a bigger trip than just microdosing. So I guess that's why it was on my mind. Cause I was like, it's the time of the, it was like that vibe. Yeah.
I love that. I want to hear more about microdosing because my personal experience with shrooms is I've only done it twice, technically three times, but the first time I did it, I didn't feel anything. So I don't know what happened there. But I've had two trips, and I have so much, I'm so curious about being able to, it feels like something I could do maybe like once a year, right?
Yeah.
Because I definitely hallucinated. It's of the drugs that have made me hallucinate, of which I've tried two, this one I have felt I had the most control over my lucidity. Like when I did feel myself beginning to hallucinate, it almost felt like I was falling asleep. And it's like the way you let yourself fall asleep. And it
Yeah.
was like if my mom had called or something like that, and I had to like, it would have been upsetting, but I feel like I could have like tuned into that frequency. So it
Yeah.
feels like you are like getting hypnotized. You have to want to be hypnotized, I think. It's
Yeah.
the reason it reminds me of that. It's interesting you say that you like reset with this because like Ram Dass, like Timothy Leary, that kind of the Harvard professors who began taking psychedelic shrooms and did this like academic research on it. He talks about his like visual that he gave was like a hill with like sledding paths on it, and if you take your sled and you try to sled down, it's gonna like probably like notch into the one that's already there. And so he's like connecting that to like the neural pathways that we tend to tread and that work in a similar way. We kind of like retread these over and over. The way he describes shrooms and psychedelic things is a fresh coat of snow over that, and like fresh powdery snow over it, and then you take your sled and you do a completely new path anywhere. So it's interesting you say that because that's the thing that I haven't experienced but that I have heard said about it.
Yeah. I think so. I will say like I started microdosing before I ever like did a full dose of this. And I honestly used it like I used to use Adderall because I could not use Adderall anymore because sometimes people have problems with overusing Adderall for reasons that you shouldn't be using them. But I still needed something like that. I just couldn't be on like something that's addictive like that. So I started doing microdosing with and like keeping up with my therapist with it. And it really did. I was like, wow, I'm not as depressed. I don't feel as like worried about these maybe like old patterns falling into them. And I didn't feel like I was like tripping or like what you were saying, like it felt similar to like smoking weed where I was like, oh yeah, like if I had to be like sober, I could, or I could like handle this or like navigate through it versus like, sometimes when I'm like blackout drunk, like, no, like leave me in my room by myself,
For sure.
And one time I got shrooms again. It was actually during the pandemic and I thought I was microdosing and I was not microdosing. I took like a lot, I would say. But I felt like the microdosing like helps me get through like the day to day. So there's like a season of my year, the way that I kind of split up my spiritual year, where I'm like, oh, microdosing is more of the vibe. And then I will stop microdosing like for the second half of the year. And then I'll probably do like a full trip like once a year as well, if that makes sense. Because the full trip, I feel like I was like way open, like things were connecting. I was getting downloads. I was like it really feel like it was like the final push to like kind of reset everything out of me, where like the microdosing was like helping me have the little realizations. It was like training, like I was like training myself for like the marathon. And then that was like the marathon. Yeah. Does that make sense? Was I guess ramble town?
No, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I love that you are still finding a way to live seasonally and cyclically, because that's one thing I've thought about. If I were to ever move somewhere like LA where there's no seasons, like I love to live like by the seasons. I love the Midwest for that reason. So I love that you have this way still of like living cyclically. Because like, yeah, we find things that work for us, but it doesn't mean we do that every single day all the time. There's a quote I really like that I think it's Jeanette Winterson, but it's like, I like pleasures, but not the same pleasures all the time. And so
Yeah.
like, certain things feel better in the winter. That's not like a winter yeah. So I fucking love that for you.
Yes. Well, and I think too, that is something that shrooms has specifically taught me, is that like you're always able to change, right? Not everything has to be the same. And just like when you are so rigid with yourself and being like, this is good, this is bad, this is addiction, this is not, this is, this makes you worthy of your community support and stuff like that, that is like so restrictive. And I just didn't really realize how many restrictions I was putting on myself. And that's leading to me being bored, to loneliness, to all these issues that, you have to like address before you can get down into the nitty gritty of yourself.
Absolutely. It's crazy how many like rules we make for ourselves and then just take those as truth. And it's like, you made that rule. I don't know, like think like more like, yeah. I wish I had more shroom stuff to share, but I love hearing about this. I'll maybe try microdosing this year. We'll see.
It's
I
and it's like anything, like not everything works for everyone. Everyone has to be on their own journey with where works and what doesn't. But I do think that people are really scared of shrooms. I know I was kind of scared of them at first, but what I would say is like it's very controlling, especially just like anything, plan and set yourself up well. Like thankfully I was home alone when I had that huge trip, and I already had like my room was clean, like I could go outside, like I had everything set up for myself to, have a good time. So it's a planning thing. It's not just a woo, when you have an intention, it can be way more meaningful, I think.
Yeah, it's helpful to hear you talk about microdosing too, I will say, because my personal experience or like the I just associate it with like Silicon Valley bros. My sister dated someone who was like one of those like tech bros, and like he was like super into Soylent and microdosing and like
No.
reclaiming that is wonderful. So I'm happy to hear this experience from you.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Anybody wants to talk about it, let me know.
Yeah, anybody have experiences, throw them in the chat. We want to hear what you think about shrooms.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, say Kayla, it's getting a lot darker up here in space.
It is. The sun is hiding in space.
Which, I don't know. Our light source up here in space. And I think that's because it's the time of the season, baby. It's Halloween. It's
That was my witch laugh. Sorry.
Sorry, hang on. Let's do it again and I won't leave you hanging. That was a freaking sorry, I just made a horse sound.
I think that sounded witch to me.
Thank you so much, buddy. Well, it's Halloween, or as the original the Celtic holiday Samhain, not Samhain.
But
As
if you
I
can
pronounce
imagine, it is spelled like Samhain. Did you know that's been the bane of my existence this month? I'm like, am I crazy in spelling and saying this wrong? But I'm not. We're not.
No, and I will say, Kayla, not to call you out, but you are usually the one who mispronounces
That's why I'm double checking myself. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, statistically, I am incorrect.
This is a new episode. This is new people. We're doing new things. I'm mispronouncing the words. But we're going into the darker months. It's Samhain, it's spooky, it's Halloween, thinning the veil, and we wanted to bring in a new segment where we bring in someone who we know and love to help us just prepare for these upcoming shadowy months. So please, everybody, will you please welcome? We have a guest reader. She's lovely. She's wonderful. You will love her so much. It's Aria.
Hello! These
Aria?
are supposed to sparkle.
They are.
They're starting to spark.
Oh my gosh.
They're birthday candles. Hello, my name is Aria, and I'm trying not to set my smoke detectors off. These just look like candles. Kind of sparking a little bit.
Oh, Aria brought props. I love this.
I also have spiders.
Yes!
It is the season. Really, thank you for setting your place so well for us.
Oh my gosh, Aria, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so tell us about, so you do read tarot, but you also you made your own deck, is that correct?
Yeah, I've made a couple of decks. So I like to make oracle cards. So I've got a couple of different themes. Sorry, my cats are being fed right now. Automatic feeder.
Nice.
But speaking of cats, I make my own oracle cards. This is my cat deck. Hang on. Will that work?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
So this is deception, for example. I have Taylor Swift themed ones as well. And then general, so this is, you know, most of them are from Folklore and Evermore, but this is Suburban Wrapped Dreams. Gift wrapped suburban dreams.
Do you have a could you explain for us what the difference is between that and like a tarot deck?
Yeah, so this is an oracle deck. So basically, I've chosen words that I like, that I feel like fit the images that I've like pasted them to. So instead of having like a set like deck, it changes. So they vary from deck to deck. And then I think it's more up for interpretation. Was like, you know, I feel like at least people who read tarot know what the emperor means. But for oracle cards, it can be more of a for your own interpretation.
What do you feel like inspires you to make, when you sit down to like make a deck, what are you inspired by?
Oh, I've been reading tarot since I was 13, so I really love anything mystical, and I buy these like old used textbooks. That's usually what I use for them. And then I feel like the pictures that I pull from just kind of speak to me, just to find the things that I like and whatever matches up with them. So I have a ton of ones that I still haven't processed yet, but you know, just little images that I really like, and then just whatever word kind of comes to mind from them.
And so when you draw a would you do with an oracle deck? Do you ever do like a draw for the day and
Yes.
make that like an intention, or just see like how it hits you? Or
yeah, I like to see how it hits me. I do like doing past, present, and future. I also like doing reads for the week. And especially with like the Taylor Swift deck, I can use that up for my own interpretation. There's a lot of like my own opinion involved in that. And yeah, I like to mess with them. I like to play with them. I like to make more. I have a nice little collection going, but I use them similarly to how I use tarot cards. I feel like at this point, I use oracle cards when I'm like looking for something a little bit more fun, and I use tarot cards for like when I really need an answer or direction.
Totally.
What I know you've been reading for a while. How did you get into tarot?
My mom taught me.
Oh, so
Um,
fun.
yeah, my mom taught me when I was 13. She kind of just sat me down and she had a little mini deck. And she just kind of sat me down and taught me how to read them. We would read with a book. So even still, I really like, I've got a lot of different decks, but I like to stay true, even though I have my own interpretations for a lot of them, true to like what the book is, because I just remember my mom like reading the descriptions to me, and that's how I familiarized myself with them. Um, and it was a good time. My mom reads tarot as well, and my sister does too.
A
That
family
is-
affair. I'm obsessed.
Yeah. Um, that's something I don't hear as often, or at least I don't know. I grew up in like a red area, conservative, so like my parents when I read them tarot, I remember I like did like a reading for my dad, and I was like, it was around like some event in his life, and I did, and he goes, yeah, I mean, I guess this could apply to anybody. Like my very specific reading that I did for him. So like that's not to make it about me. That's to say like that is such a cool thing to hear for me and probably a lot of other people, that it's like, yeah, you can have that nourishing through your family. Um, would you tell us your star chart, Aria?
My star chart, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to fix the lights here to see if my face isn't as green. Oh, incredible. Okay. I am an Aries sun, Virgo moon, and Pisces rising.
Nice.
Do you feel have you felt affected by this eclipse in any way? Have you done anything ritualistic around it?
Oh yeah. This eclipse has hit me hard, I'm not gonna lie. I took or a full moon bath on Friday just to like try to I burned some bay leaves about it is really what I did. Just to try to calm down. But I'd say doing some tarot pulls, but for the most part I've just been in the shit. So connecting to my spirituality, especially in the time of like crisis, is not always my first go. But just like lightly taking care of myself, I feel like is what I've been trying to do.
Good for you. That's hard. It's
Thank
sometimes
you.
the hardest thing. We were kind of talking about this before. The hardest thing is like taking care of yourself when you're really in the shit. You know what I mean? Like doing the
Yeah.
little things that even make you feel, we're still in Libra season, like that even make you feel glamorous because you're like, well, I don't feel glamorous. So why would I do that?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, this week's been brutal. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Yeah.
We
A
agree.
great time for the Guts Olivia Rodrigo album. Am I right, everyone?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Also the Mitski album. Oh my God.
Also,
Right
the
to the
Sufjan
heart.
album.
Yes, 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 yes. The music
Y'all.
really said y'all will be needing it this week.
Also, the rest of the Boy Genius album. You guys, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
We're crying, we're sobbing, we're kissing.
Wow. That's Boy Genius, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, Aria, would you
one
mind pulling a card from us from either a tarot deck or one of your favorite oracle decks, whatever your vibe is feeling?
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna do the Taylor Swift ones because I feel like it's written in the stars because I did shrooms for the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh my God, wait. Okay, wait, pause and tell us
Doing
everything.
shrooms. Yes. No, I did shrooms. We ended up, me and my sister did shrooms. We showed up a little bit late, so it was perfect that the shrooms like came in as Taylor Swift was coming on stage.
Nice.
It's kind of how we planned it. We just took them as we were getting out of the car going into the venue. And it was a great time. I feel like I've been fundamentally shaped by Taylor Swift. Um, especially after I took shrooms at her concert, but even before then, I'm a huge fan of Taylor Swift.
Shrooms and music really change everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was a good experience. I did cry a lot, but joyful.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the Evermore segment, I think, was the one that really got to me. Yeah. Good gosh, rebirth.
That checks out. It is. It really is rebirth. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So wait, what do you want this draw to be? Do we want this to be for the week, for the rest of the month, for just today? Like, what are we feeling for the Taylor Swift poll? You
I'm
saying
feeling
go
I'm
ahead.
feeling for the rest of the week because at least from where I am right now, I'm in a bummer mood, not gonna lie. So
Yeah,
I
Yes,
would love
same.
to see what the rest of the week looks like because,
I
just some
agree
clarity would be
that
nice.
this is a very much I'm feeling a fresh start from I just was very much also in the shit Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now it's like, hey, Monday, new cycle, and I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
From Aria's Taylor Swift Oracle deck.
And Aria, just so you know, Vivian just commented in the chat and said that it was iconic of you to take shrooms at the Taylor Swift
Thank
concert.
you so much. I'm in Colorado, or I'll be in Colorado on Wednesday to visit my sister, and we're gonna take shrooms again and watch the movie, the Eras Tour movie. It's gonna be a whole bunch of fun. We might cause a scene, I guess we'll see what happens.
As you should.
All right, let's do a poll for the rest of the week. Let's see. All right, we've
All right.
got the card. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, put it in front of your chest. Maybe put your
Yeah, if you hold it closer to you in
right.
front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Perfect.
tricks up my sleeve.
Tricks up my sleeve.
Ooh, tricks up my sleeve.
Okay, somebody tell
From
me
Cowboy Like Me.
Yeah, Aria, tell us how you would interpret that for yourself.
Oh my God. It's not what I want to hear. I'm gonna be honest. Not what I was hoping for. Um, okay, so immediately off the bat, I'm thinking that there are ways to cope with the trickery that's going to be around me. I feel like this is tricks up my sleeve, and as the reader, I'm reading it for myself. So I'm picturing like um there will be ways for me to cope and handle the rest of the week that comes. But I feel like the theme of trickery is going to be common, and possibly some fuck shit is kind of what I'm sensing. That's going to be coming from the week. And hopefully I'll be able to have the tools in my tool belt kind of situation to be able to handle the rest of what the week has to come. That's how I interpret it. What are you guys thinking?
I'm obsessed with that because I also was like it was kind of giving me like maybe kind of like neutral evil magician. You know what I mean? It's like if the week is gonna trick me, I'm tricking it back. That's I don't know why I'm coming from an angry place. So today, like I said earlier,
Me too.
so that's what it feels like. It feels like I don't know, something it feels like you're gonna fuck me. Well, guess what? I've already taken care of myself, actually,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
get the whole, I just Googled to see what song it was from. But I like the idea that because yeah, I was originally struck with like tricks up my sleeve. I didn't immediately think of it as like me tricks up my sleeve. Because like I feel like it feels like the like blank like the rug's been pulled out from under us this past weekend. And so but I like that you're saying the like it's like you think they're down, but it's like, wait, I've got some moves in me too. And like you forget, you're like, oh, I've got a move or two in me too. I can punch back. And maybe I won't beat the universe. Maybe it'll just be like stand your own ground. But yeah, it does feel like a very bracing kind of feeling.
Yeah,
But I like
absolutely.
yeah. Hmm.
I like that. I think I like that. Trick the universe back.
Yeah.
The
I
universe.
I take this as a sign that things might not necessarily go well this week, but be able to cope with it.
Yeah.
The
It gives
whole
me a very like a fuck around and find out because people are already fucking
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out.
have you ever had to have you ever like nannied or babysat and you had to like send a kid into what you know is going to be kind of like a hard situation and you can't be there with them, but you know that they're going to be okay and they're going to be better for it, and it's going to be better if you don't hold their hand. It's like you have the tools you need. It doesn't feel like it, but I promise you do. Like
Yeah.
I dropped my sister off at daycare and she was like, and I'm like, you do got some tricks up your sleeve. So like someone's just kind of got to like push us along a little bit.
Yeah.
A little ominous.
A little ominous.
Life
Ominous
is kind of
happiness.
ominous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I heard somebody talking. This tarot reader I follow on TikTok called Madam Adam. I love him. Very fun, very cute. Um, he was just saying about how a lot of people think that manifestation excludes you from the human experience. But I feel like this oracle card also is like a reminder that like just because we're spiritual, just because maybe we're deep diving into ourselves doesn't mean that we don't experience like loss and suffering and everything like that. We're not exempt from the human experience. It's just about how we can handle it, how we choose to look at it, like what stories we choose to tell ourselves about it. It's so interesting and hard and fucking whatever, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see the cat oracle deck too, if you guys would want to do maybe another poll.
I would
Yeah.
love to. All right. Let's see. What should we be pulling for?
I think this should be for like maybe the like the Halloween season, like the festivities.
Ooh,
Like
okay.
The cat,
the
that's a good one for the cats.
yeah, the general like what do we want to call it? Is Samhain,
Yeah,
harvest season.
maybe some advice or something as we enter the darker seasons of the year.
Yeah, I like that. As we enter
like
the
that.
trying to think of like a catchy the void. I don't know.
I don't like this one. Oh, sorry.
Let's see. And what does it say?
It is Violation,
Ooh.
and it is a picture of a cat getting his ears examined by two lovely people.
Ooh.
Okay,
I'm
so
actually obsessed with this. I'm actually obsessed with this one for what we're drawing it for.
wow, yes, because okay, wait, I want to let Kayla go. One thing that struck me immediately is like violation, but it's for something that seems like good for the cat.
Absolutely.
Cleaning his ears out.
You're again the other half of my soul. That's exactly how I felt. I was just like, because like shadow work and all that stuff that I kind of associate the darker months with, it's
Mhm.
not like fun all the time. You know what I mean? Like you're not always like, I'm the best number one person I could have been in all moments. A lot of the time it's like I was surviving and I was doing the best I can and it wasn't great all the time. But it's like you have to go through that, right? You have to go to the dentist even though it sucks. You have to go to the doctor because that's part of taking care of yourself comprehensively. And ultimately it helps you out at the end, but it can be really fucking annoying in the moment, you know?
Yeah, there's also the whole thing of like when like right before things start to get better, they feel like they're getting so much worse. And often if it's like something that is like brought to light or an issue or a thing, like it's gonna feel bad before it gets better, kind of is what struck me about that card. Aria, any thoughts?
I absolutely love both of your interpretations of this because I guess I do kind of like it though because my immediate reaction is like I don't like that.
Yeah.
But then it like yeah growth and specifically like at least being in Chicago like it is quite a dark time, like quite literally dark, but you know there's so much less sunlight, it starts to get colder. I feel like the time of like coming into yourself, it doesn't always feel the most comfortable, and it is kind of a uncomfortable experience at first, but it is ultimately a good thing. I don't know, I like it.
Yeah. Interesting, guys. I think it's rough. I think it's a rough time.
I think
Yeah.
it's just rough out there. It's not our fault. We're just reacting to it.
Yeah. And at least we could all come together and laugh about it. See a cute little cat. Thank God, Aria. Thank you for
Yeah.
making that a cute cat. Thanks for that harsh lesson coming with a cute cat.
Yeah, I love
Absolutely.
that. You guys ever see the TikTok guy where I'm not on TikTok anymore, but like there's the guy who was like talking about how he's like the mentality is like, yeah, if you have to be miserable, and then do it miserably if you have to do it miserably. Is that ringing a bell? Did you guys
Yes, it is.
he was he like connected it to like when he was like in New York during the AIDS crisis, and it was like it's impossible to be stress-free right now, but we have to go do these things. We have to keep living. So if you
Yeah.
have to do it miserably, but do it.
Yeah.
And
There's
like
ways
that a
to
lot.
be honest and still have to do what you have to do. Totally.
this has been so lovely, Aria. I
Of course.
You have a do you have any sort of, I know that at one point you were maybe going to sell, if you want to give us at any point like a shop information or anything like that where we can like
Yeah.
buy that deal, like we would love to shout you out and promote that.
Thank you so
Um,
much. Yeah, my shop is Miss Pimp Daddy, MISSPIMP Daddy. And you can go on my website. It's just misspimpdaddy.com. And I should have my Shopify completely connected. I don't have any Oracle cards listed, but I'm gonna start making decks because I like this is just the cat deck, and I have so much fun doing them. So I'd really like to start like selling them. But I mostly make eyeglasses chains. That's my big one. But I can
Nice.
also send you guys the link.
I'm putting it in the chat now. Link deleted.
Oh, that's okay.
Put it in the chat, and we can also put it in the comments for the YouTube replay that we have, so it will stay there forever.
Yes, we can. And we can also tell all of our friends. Arya makes such cool shit. I am excited to see what you make next.
Oh God, that was my cat.
No, you're good. Oh, Arya's cats are also lovely. I love everything about Arya, if you couldn't tell.
Thank you so much for sharing your talent, your time, your space.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been an absolute honor. This guy's really trying to get me.
All right, go be with your cat. We're gonna move forward. Feel free to be in the chat if you want to. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. Farewell, y'all. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye.
That is
What a beautiful person.
everyone needs an Arya in their life. I am going through withdrawal that I don't work with Arya anymore. It is bad. Well, gosh, you guys, that was such a nice I love that we got to play around with like a different kind of reading oracle. It was very personal. Felt very appropriate too for yeah.
I get it, because I also think that it's nice a reminder that like pulling tarot isn't always like fun and like rainbows and blah 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 whatever. Sometimes it's hard truths, and that doesn't make it bad or scary. It just makes your journey more clear,
Yeah, for real. I love hate when like a tarot card comes and I'm like, God, fuck off. Like, God damn it, because it's radical acceptance, but I don't want to be radically accepting anything right now. So I kind of love that all of our reactions were like, huh.
Shit.
Shit. Well, guys, that was a cool exercise in doing like a one card draw, which I love doing as like a way to start the day, set an intention. But another great thing that you can do with tarot or any sort of divination deck are spreads.
Yes. And of course, where would we be without our old faithful favorite spread, Fuck, Marry, Kill?
Kill.
Y'all know the drill. We know
that know the drill.
Coven, this is serious. What you do here has to be here forever.
Yeah. This is our flagship. Nothing has changed about this. And so we will remind you that this is a very serious segment and you need to participate if you want to keep watching. And anything you do say is your words become actions. You know how they say like thoughts are just thoughts? Nope. In here, they're reality, baby. Thoughts are actions. So we're gonna do this spread together. Everybody, please participate. Tell us who you would fuck, who you would marry, who you would kill. You have to do one for each. And oh boy, this is gonna be a tough one for this spooky episode. First up, we have who you might imagine we would have in this episode, which is Death.
Sexy.
Death is kind of sexy, especially in this like Rider-Waite. I haven't seen a ton of other interpretations of it, but like he's very sleek. He's got a very like
I'm gonna say something
leather vibe. Go for it.
He gives me Lords of Dogtown vibes.
What's that?
The skateboarding movie?
I do.
Okay, now you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he would be on Venice Beach, he's smoking weed, he's gliding, he's like, life is hard, we're gonna have to die, we're gonna have to transform, but it's kind of like a sexy first crush on like Leo DiCaprio when he kind of looked like a lesbian vibe to me.
Yeah, like dangerous, but like in a safe danger.
Yes. Yeah, dangerous in a way that like it's gonna promote my growth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly. He looks like Hanson to me.
Yes. Right?
Okay, yeah, very 90s, very, very heartthrob. And yeah, what is it about? I feel very safe around this death.
Is it
Um,
wild to feel so safe around him?
do you guys ever watch that show Dickinson,
Yes,
where death is all sexy and nice? That's how I feel about this death.
I agree. I agree with you. Because
Like,
transition can also be sexy and nice and fun.
yeah, like the very like the it's kind of like a wholesome bad boy. Death is gonna come when death isn't gonna kill maliciously, or like death just comes when well, okay, that's a whole other conversation. But okay, I'm
Okay.
getting good vibes from this person. Our next card is kind of a variation of that. It is the devil,
Ooh,
not
threesome.
unrelated.
Threesome energy to me. Orgy.
So, oh, so you're taking this to be three people in the devil with because those are the lovers that are in the devil card. So you're taking it to be the lovers and the devil. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because it's also like animal instincts, and I feel like in my experience, group sex has been very like it's not as romantic as like one-on-one sexual connections. It's a little bit more like lusty and like orgy vibes, animalistic a little bit, but of course in safe ways that is consensual for everyone.
Yeah, very much more like base instinct id kind of. I do
Yeah.
think this card gives very like safe kink vibes because again, the chains are loose and they can take those chains off if they were to choose to. So I like
Crazy
that
to be
they're
here.
all having a good old safe kinky time and like everybody's down for it. So
Interesting.
interesting. I'm getting back to the okay, death is giving me our flag means death. Taika Waititi's character.
Yes.
He's got the whole. That is who I am thinking of. He's in leather and he's sharp and everything, but he's really soft too at the
Yeah,
same time. That's my
absolutely.
death. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Devil is giving me more like. What is Devil giving me? Cool, kinky. I would have new adventures. I would learn new things about myself with the Devil.
Yeah.
And maybe some uncomfortable truths about myself too.
Yeah. Can
Hmm.
I that had to happen at a kink party, you know?
That
Yeah.
everybody, if somebody turns the lights on.
Yeah.
So what did I put for number three? Oh yes, the Nine of Swords, which again is just this card's difficult to read positively. I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of the vibe of everything. But you have to deal with it. Because here's what I'll say.
It's the
In
theme of
this
the
fuck
episode.
Mary killing, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy is giving me. He goes, I have to decide to fuck Mary and kill all of this. I will lose sleep. To me,
What?
this
Yeah.
guy, to me, this card is like, I would rather just masturbate at home.
I just want to stay in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very given a lot of fear, anxiety, very much in touch with their feelings. This could be a positive for this card. Um
I will say I think I've decided, and I feel pretty clear headed, pretty strong about my choices.
hmm, really already?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's what I'm saying. I have this like fire energy. I don't know what is going on with me today.
I think I know mine, but I feel really bad about it because
Interesting.
my instinct is to marry death, fuck the devil, and kill the Nine of Swords. But I don't want to just put the Nine of Swords out of their misery. But I also don't want to get caught in a trap of like I can fix them. And maybe
Yeah.
they're in a because it seems like they're not in a place to be in any kind of dynamic or relationship right now.
And that's my exact one. I would marry death, fuck devil, kill. I don't have time. I'm 31. I don't have time for this anymore.
Yeah. I wish there was an alternative to kill that
Well, killing is just death. So technically, like you're gonna be there with the hubby to kill them, right? To bring
kill
death.
them. Oh my god, yeah.
And so you'll
Wait,
help them transition. So you'll see them transition to a better place than where they are.
yeah, but it's like, hey, I rejected you, and me and my new hubby are gonna come kill you now.
I
I
think it sounds like
wait about
a
it.
beautiful movie, a rom-com I'd love to see personally. What do you think, Sky Mommy? How are you feeling?
I am on the same exact page as M, actually. Fuck the
Yeah,
devil, marry death, kill swords.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's it's hard to kill your friends. But it looks like again, yeah, I just don't think this person is in a place to be. I think this person needs to be alone for a while in purgatory.
Here's what I'll say. I would hope people would compassionately release me when I need to be compassionately released.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're letting them go.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. A rare episode where we all agree.
Yeah.
I love it.
Kayla, your mom is
everything is
lost.
shitty. What?
Your mom is
My mom.
lost. She says, I have no idea.
Janice, you got to get with it. You got to get with it, Janice. We have to make really serious decisions in this moment.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1. Well. I love that. I love that even if the outside world is crazy, we here can all be in agreement in our safe space.
Yeah. And you know, we've proven ourselves to be such masters of our craft and of our own selves and lives that I think it's time to move on to another brand new segment that I'm personally pretty excited for. Oh wait, Miss Aria says that it would be an end to 9 suffering. Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, I it's true. It's true, and that's their happy ending. That's their happy ending.
That is.
God damn, y'all, what a fucking episode. This is a dark time we live in.
It's okay. This is part of it's dark sometimes.
This is part of it. This is the world we're living in, and we're just trying to make it work. It is time for a new segment in which Kayla and I are going to we're going to offer our thoughts, our own expert advice. Take it with a grain of salt. You've seen us talk so far, so whatever you think of us, I you know what? We talk about therapy a lot. We've gone to therapy a lot. We love to talk about it, so we're excited to talk about you instead of us for this round. This is Ask.
I will say also, so that means that if you're interested in getting us to give you some advice, make sure you're checking out our social medias for next month so you can check the link to submit your little question to us.
Yes, and if you have any thoughts about these questions that we are putting out, please, this is a communal effort. These are all anonymous. So the more advice, the better. This is about community support, you know? This is about reaching out and getting help from the people around you. Think of this as like Reddit, but with more emotional intelligence. Less scary.
Yeah.
So do we have a title for this? I think it was.
Can you reintroduce it because it kind of got drowned out?
Sorry, yeah, that was I threw it in there. Y'all, this is Ask the Stars. Yeah, I just kind of like threw it on the side. I posted a link to my NGL, that not gonna lie thing, and then Kayla reposted it. So all of these questions went to my inbox, which is interesting because it is a mix of advice questions and then also a couple of personal questions that I am we're not sure is directed to me or Kayla because we both used that link. So let's go through really quick the I'm gonna go through the personal questions and just throw them out there. I'll put them in the chat too, and we can just maybe both answer them really quick, rapid fire, and then we can get into advice. So okay. The first one was, what's your sign? Very easy. Thank you for the softball, whoever did that. That's just like a great way to get it. I'm a Taurus sun. Are we doing our full? I'm a Cancer moon and I'm a Leo rising.
Yeah, I think we should do the full. Yeah, I'm a Capricorn rising and a Pisces sun and moon. And Sky Mommy?
I'm Scorpio sun, Cancer moon, and Aries rising.
We got a good bunch here, is what I'll say.
We got some fire going in this group. Yeah. The next, this isn't a question. This says, please let's hang out soon. And
how about right now?
How about right now? Are you watching right now? We are hanging out. I love this one because it's an anonymous link and they went through my social media page to do that. So they could have just sent me a direct message that said, but they went through. So anyway, or you, depending on who this is for.
You're just saying that there's easier ways to hang out with us, to ask.
I'm going to say tentatively yes, depending on who this, but I'm down to hang out. The next personal question is just the word single ? And I'm going to answer for both of us, which is no, we're not.
Sorry. We're so hot and witty and funny that we
witty and funny that
you gotta, there's lines.
There's lines.
Yeah.
We got dragged up. And yeah, no, I don't know how else to. I have a partner. We are in an open thing, but I wouldn't want to get friends involved in that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you imagine if it was me that submitted that question and I was like, Em, I just really needed the tea.
That would be an iconic move on Kayla's end, just to make more drama for the show. Which leads into the next personal question, which again, what I've been spiraling about once again is whether this question is for me or Kayla. Because what I did is I immediately looked at my story and see who looked at this, because the question, it says, I've had a crush on you for years and you still don't know, LMAO. And it's like,
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to actually answer that for both of us. And I'm going to say, we probably know. We're just not acting because we're kind.
Whoa.
What do you mean? We're
Here's what I would say. I don't know if you, I just assume, because I think that you're very smart and aware. What I would say is we probably know that this person has a crush on us, and there's maybe a reason that we're not acting on it. In my experience, that's what this message means to me.
okay. Maybe. I feel like I don't always have a good sense of if someone has a crush on me.
I'll tell.
I definitely
When
don't.
I'm with you, Em, people are hitting on you.
When was the last time?
When I'm with you, like I just feel like people are always flirting with you. Like especially when we go to Dorothy, when I've been to Dorothy's with you, anytime I've gone out with you in like those spaces, people are like, Em is so hot, Em is so cute, trying like lines of people are trying to talk to you.
Okay, so it shows how much that I realize then.
Okay. Em, this is the moment you're waking up. This is the moment you're waking up.
Here's what I will say. First of all, thank you. Second of all, I can kind of tell. I don't know. I feel like I never want to, because the opposite side of that is assuming someone likes you, and that is, I want to throw myself into the sun if I misinterpret that.
Oh, here's the thing. I think this has been my coping mechanism is I think that I assume that everybody has a crush on me.
I kind of do too, but then also I don't.
No. That's the Delulu we deserve to be living in.
It's true. I love that you're giving me advice on this too, and this is what it turned into. Okay, the last thing I will say about this specifically is I got like a notification, saw that someone had said it. I immediately looked to my story to see who had looked at my story. I could reasonably narrow it down, right, between people. And what I'll say is there is depending on who it is, which like I feel like I have a short list that's pretty accurate there's a pretty good chance I'm crushing on you too, or I have in the past. It says for years, because it says for years, so it's someone I've known for years, so that narrowed it down too. And it's like I took a look at
Is it somebody that I know?
I think so, yeah. Should I name drop someone? No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, Vivian says the 4 years part is like own up to the crush if it's been so long.
But like maybe they know I have a partner, and it's like
If you don't tell me after the show, after the broadcast is over.
Of course I'll tell you after the show. I'm not going to say it on this. Here's the thing. I narrowed it down to some people, and there is a pretty good chance that hey, if you're watching right now, there's a very, very, very good chance that I also have crushed on you. And we did the gayest thing possible, which is neither of us made a move.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. So now this week, I'm going to get an NGL. And if you are the person that is crushing on Em, message into my NGL and give us more hints about who you are. And every week we'll try to guess.
And, maybe it was one of those things where it's like, we're always ships, and then it's like, oh, I'm in a relationship, and then they're in a relationship, and then pandemic happened, and I don't, but the fact that it still perseveres, I will say, hey, nobody people typically like to hear that people like them.
100.
So thank you very much for that. On the opposite, I'm sorry, I didn't remember this question was right afterwards, because the opposite end of that, the next one just says, I wish we talked more.
That, depending on who it is, just message me.
But
if you are an annoying man, then you have to Venmo me $10 and then message me.
Okay. That's your boundary.
That's my boundary. I think that's fair.
So it just says, wish we talked more. I don't know. I'm it's hard to keep up with people. I think like there's actually another question that ties into this that is like a audience advice thing, so I'll talk about it more there. But like chances are I might be thinking about you too and being like, oh, I should reach out to this person. Yeah, people don't all we
I'm
all have
hardly ever sad to get like a was just thinking about you message. You know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do this last one and then we'll go to the advice one because it kind of ties into that. But this question is, have you ever given a hickey? And what do
Give
you
it.
think? What do you think?
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
what do you think? Look at me. We look at us.
Yeah, look at wait here. Let me get closer to you. Look at our faces.
Look at our faces. Do these look
Look at
like the
our
faces
more
of
importantly, look at our necks.
their necks? Well, giving hickey. Well, what I was gonna say is yes, I have given a hickey because these are the faces of two people who fuck.
Yes, absolutely. And hickeys like hickeys are hot. Sorry. I hate to say it.
I think I don't love visible
You
hickeys.
have
I think
you no, you
so.
have to have a neckline. There's
Yeah,
boundaries.
totally. I do not like having a visible hickey. It does not make me feel sexy. But if there's a hickey somewhere where only I can see, and then I see it the next day or something, and it's like a little reminder, hot. Love it. Absolutely. I'll give those.
Yeah. So
But
yes, with boundaries.
yeah, I gave a hickey to the first person I kissed. So
Yeah,
not
I feel like that was
not
also
our
like a
first kiss.
real
But
that was a real like when you first start making out situation, and then like now
I
at this age, it's like we're bringing it back.
Yeah. Well, I knew what a hickey was, and I remember being like, how do you, because like I hadn't, it was like when I was much younger, and I remember like thinking like, what do you do to make that happen? And then I just did it with like just by, you're just intuitively you start doing something. And I remember being like, oh, that made a mark. Oh, that's what hickeys are.
Oh, that's what they had been talking about this whole
So
time.
sometimes you just gotta, work around it. And but yeah,
Absolutely.
we've given hickeys.
Yeah, because
We're
we fuck.
30 because we fuck. Okay, so actual advice that somebody to everybody who asked those questions, thank you so much. We hope we gave you satisfactory answers, or we just kept you wanting more, because then you'll come to the next show. This anonymous message says, any tips on reconnecting with old friends, like it's been too long since we talked, which really ties into what we have been talking about so far.
Good question.
Yeah, it's a little, the harder part about like the anonymous part is that we don't have the context, of like, I don't know why this friendship, why you guys, if there was like a big inciting incident or you guys just kind of drifted apart, which has happened a lot over the past few years. I want to hear what you have to say, Kayla. I think my one knee-jerk thing is that like it is so I would not rule out the possibility that they're also thinking about you from time to time and trying to think when, and like then it's been too long and then it's like, should I go back? So like I would remember that like it's unless there's like some big fight or something that happened, and even then it's very, very, very possible they're also thinking about you, and trying to think of what the move is. And yeah, it's a tricky thing, right?
I think my advice to this, because I was like, what advice would I give myself? Or like if my sister was coming to me. And what I would say is like life is hard and very busy, and we never actually know what people are going through personally, right? Sometimes life makes it hard to keep reaching out, or sometimes we feel shame about where we might be in life, and that might be scary to share with people. So keeping all of that in mind, if you are feeling the need to reach out to that friend, or you're just like, man, there's been on my mind lately, I do really encourage you to reach out, but with the caveat of reaching out without expectation. Because also friendships change and grow just as we all do, but you are allowed to know where you stand with people, and you're allowed to know what space to hold for people who have been in your life. So I think either way, if you're feeling right, we can only control ourselves. Like if you are feeling like you want to reach out to people, reach out with just like a really chill, non-expectation kind of maybe text, email, something that doesn't have to be responded to right away. And just be like, hey, I've missed you. Life has been whatever. If you have a second, I would love to catch up. And if that's like a very like A second can be in 2 weeks or a month later, or it can be that later that night. There's no like urgency in that. And if they don't respond, then honey, it looks like there's not a lot of space for you in their life now. And that's an answer. Right now, now that you can address those feelings. And if they do reach back out, that's going to be like a beautiful reconnection where you can understand your timeline and the timeline of the people in your community around you, right?
You took so many of the words out of my mouth. I agree completely. It is, yeah, I'd say the sending of the check in with why you want to reach back out to this friend. Is it that you miss the connection you had? Because if so, another thing I'll say is the be prepared for whatever response they might have, without the expectation. It also, if it's been this long since you talked, just that the relationship might not snap back to exactly what it was before, because if time has passed, I'm assuming you have grown and changed and they have grown. You might be in different places, you might be different people. And so because of that, it's not going to be exactly the same relationship if you come back together. If you were hanging out all the time before, it might not be that way, or might not right away. There might be like a warm-up period. You might be refiguring out what that dynamic is. So I would say, it's good. I get what it means, like, to miss that old connection. Just remember that you're moving forward with that connection. So just stay present, stay checking in. Does this feel good? Do I still like being with this person? Or am I just trying to get to what we had before? And yeah, like Kayla said, not a ton of pressure on it. People like to hear that you've been thinking of them. And again, it's I had one friend who I saw at like a dinner thing, and we hadn't seen each other in a while, and both of us were like, hey, I've been thinking about you, and I hope you know that life's gotten in the way. It's not always a malicious reason. And I think we can make up so much stories for ourselves about why someone hasn't reached out, when maybe they're truly just have something else. And that's also hard to swallow, but it's not always that they hate you.
It's not hardly ever is it really about us,
Right, yeah. And I will go as far to say that if it was because they hated you, you would probably know. Or
yeah. And
better.
This text will clear that right up,
Yeah. And yeah, and I have empathy for like that, after some time has passed, then it's like it's been too much time, and then it's this thing hanging over you. It doesn't have to be that thing hanging over you. It could just be like do you want to get a cup of coffee? Let's see what happens from there. Don't try to like XYZ from there. Yeah. One step at a time. Things are cyclical, and friendships are cyclical. And I think
and friendships and relationships are a spectrum and are so vast, and you can have closeness and intimacy and also have space and still some kind of friendship intimacy. Not everything has to be cookie cutter. Everything can be different, and you're allowed to like go through the ebbs and flows of closeness with people
all the time, man. That's really cool. You're whoever is out there is I hope I good luck, and I hope you're able to reconnect with that person.
Same. That's hard. Friendships are hard. So good luck. We love you. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for asking, buddy. Well, Kayla, before we leave, do you have anything you want to outsource some advice on, or do you want to just move forward to some full moon podcast?
Outsource advice on. No, I think that was it. I will say astrologically, this kind of reminded me. I think we are also kind of like there's a bunch of little transits happening this month. And in my newer studying of it, I feel very encouraged to create my own communities instead of looking for outside ones currently. So I don't know. That just kind of felt like it resonated maybe with this situation. Don't be afraid to create your own communities if you're feeling lonely. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to bring people in instead of always searching outward for that as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think going along with that is trying to just make sure you're not coming at it with like a starvation mindset. Coming out that you're surrounded by people and potential relationships, and just come at that with a feeling of abundance, and not like I need to this, because it's really easy to slip into that mindset. But
when you hold the fire too tight, it suffocates.
Wow.
You gotta let that shit free.
Like a really, really good button to this segment. So,
did you like it? Did y'all hate that?
If you like it, please tell us. So now that we have cleared out some space in our lives and told you about our Hickey experience, our shroom experience, did some divination. We really fit a lot into this episode. Why don't we oh wait, no, that's an old thing from the script. They say, Kayla, that the only constant is change. Well, as we have been saying many times throughout this episode, life is all about change. It's all about ebb and flow. But it's nice to have one thing that stays more or less the same that you can live by, which is the moon.
Oh, we love the moon. She goes through phases just like us. Where
Oh,
here we
For a
are.
second, we're back.
Just like us. So we know that the new moon starts in darkness, and then throughout the month we grow to the fullness of the full moon. So let's talk about what the fuck is happening.
absolutely. We also had as you are aware, a solar eclipse in Libra on Saturday, which we're also talking about. I think I mean the eclipse season, I'm sure you have much more about to say about this than I do, but I know that eclipses are tend to be like a time to literally like shine light on things, bring them to the surface. It seems like a very like unconscious conscious thing, like things that we have that haven't quite been brought to the surface because it hasn't had the opportunity. I think eclipses tend to like bring all those up. And I think that it's I think like the last eclipse we had was in Aries, right? Back in April. And I think Aries is very like fiery and there's like that forward action, tear apart your closet, get rid of the things and all that. And it's the same. It's also an eclipse. It's about bringing things to light, the things that aren't serving you, the things you might want to change. I think in this season, in this eclipse, it's a little more about seeing what comes up and just learning to sit in the discomfort a little bit more and not like immediately be like, this is my plan and this is my group and this is my identity and I realize this thing I have to deal with. So like really rash immediate decisions, because I think that it can feel like we're being productive when we do that, but it's very much coming from a fear, shame, or panic mindset, which gives us some sense of that control. I'm just speaking from my own experience, but it ultimately can be counterproductive to that actual growth. So something I'm trying to do in this Libra eclipse is finding that balance through like paying attention and seeing the things that have come up and like trying to sit in that and let the changes come as they do gradually. It's that thing where like when you're looking directly at something, it's not when it changes, but when you let it like process in the back of your head and that magic starts to happen. So what I would say is what I'm doing is because I had a bad experience on Friday. I have some things coming up that I know I have to deal with. That's the other thing is I think a lot of these things that are coming up this eclipse from people I've talked to and myself are things where it's like it's in your unconscious and you kind of know, but you don't know, right? It's almost like when you come out, it's like you knew and you know, but you didn't. And then the incident, and then something happened that brought it to the surface. I think that's a lot of the things that are coming up for us. So because of that, because it's been brewing for so long, let it learn to sit in the discomfort and the maybes and the just staying present and taking it one day at a time. Pick one step and then go from there. Is kind of what I'm been trying to relearn this eclipse season, is not to make like an immediate action plan, even though that's what might feel like the most productive. But yeah, what a fucking weekend. Kayla, how's your weekend?
Fucking crazy. Yeah, I agree. I do think it is interesting because we are, like you said, kind of like moving into a new eclipse season. So we just moved out of, I believe it was Taurus Scorpio, and now we're doing Aries Libra. So that's what we're going to be in for a while. And like you said, I am like, yes, let the things come. Cause like what I think with eclipses is like expect the unexpected. And it's kind of like, how do you expect the unexpected? You know what I mean? That sounds crazy, but it's because it is what you're saying, like brewing inside of us. We kind of know where to look. And if anybody out there is feeling a little confused on where to look, you can kind of just look since we are in Libra season and this was a Libra solar eclipse, we can kind of look to Libra to guide us into maybe the one step we need to be taking here. I really see this new eclipse season really being about your personal independence and being strong in that and seeing how it fits into your communities. So my advice for this month would really be sitting with, because Libra's tarot counterpart is justice, and that's all about fairness and balance and harmony, kind of in what you were saying about like finding the balance of like, this is my truth and this is how I interact with the communities around me, or like, this is how I feel and it's not aligned with what I'm doing right now. How can you change that? How can you move through that? But that doesn't mean, like what you were saying, that you have to make a rash decision. It's just something to notice how you're feeling, right? But also my advice for the rest of the month, as we're dealing with this, how we're finding where we can find stronger parts of ourselves to take personal independence, I would really encourage people to have smaller gatherings this month. I wonder what would benefit from you having more one-on-one conversations or more like close, intimate dinner parties versus having big, huge parties and going out into big spaces. See where you feel safe in the smaller spaces, see where you can benefit from your personal independence, and even see if you can surprise yourself, because the people closest to us also can have a different perspective in us sometimes. So I really just wonder what that looks like to you, because don't forget, my favorite thing of this month is faith in ourselves leads to stronger communities. So the more you know yourself, the stronger the people around you will support you. Also, the quicker you'll find the people that will support you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. This is all about the like finding your own strong community this episode. It's interesting that you chose shrooms and we had that whole conversation too, because the other thing in like eclipse season is like eclipses do like very much like, you know, shake the snow globe and like everything comes up. But that's a good opportunity to like the whole like, you know, sledding hill and like recreate. I think we create these rules and beliefs about ourselves, like I am this, you know, I'm a messy person, is what like say like I rules about ourselves that can just be, I think shaking it all up means we get to reset it and reapply, like reassess those rules about ourselves, check in with these like truths that we're the ones that applied that label to ourselves. So I think it's a good time to also take check of that. Make sure you're tuning into yourself and you're not using a label from past you.
Really, you're allowed to change. Things change.
Things change. Don't pathologize yourself, you know?
And of course, I hope that you spend the end of this month before we're back celebrating Samhain, which is October 31st to November 1st. Celtic ancestry or whatever kind of says that this is the beginning of the new year. So take that energy. Who are you? Where are you moving? What are you doing? Do you like it? Do you not? You're allowed to change.
Yeah. Interesting. So we have Yom Kippur, and then we have Samhain, and then we have the traditional New Year.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Kind of like three
Yeah, three phases of it.
Interesting. Just something I thought about right now.
I think it's kind of like warming up. You know what I mean? You like gives
Yeah.
yourself the time and space. Like it's not like New Year change. It's like New Year, feel like changing. You know, kind of like soft and gentle and long.
Slow. It doesn't have to be all that's just let it keep going. Tune in with yourself.
Exactly.
I love you, Kayla.
I love you too. I wish that I could spend that time with you, but I will spiritually.
I'm gonna see a lot of really cool pictures from Kayla's dope apartment in Burbank. Whoops, I dropped to your neighborhood. Okay.
Well, leave me money. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to close up this circle.
Yes, I know we've gone long, but we're figuring it out. We had a lot to talk about. This is actually our punishment for not meeting for 3 months.
Yes, this is the overflow from not seeing each other in far too long.
But of course, we want to thank the elements for their assistance this evening. And of course, give our respect to the chosen deities of the season, Bella Ramsey and Janelle Monáe, our sweet queens.
Long may they reign. I don't think either of them are billionaires yet. And in order to ground ourselves back into our physical realm, we would encourage you to stretch, move your body, have something to eat or drink, light up a joint, touch your cat or your blanket, anything that's connecting you back to your actual space around you in your earthly realm. And to do that, we're gonna do another little communal breathe in. And just a big old breath out.
Oh, wow. Thank you for being here. Of course, don't forget to check out Aria's store, which we put the link in the chat and will also be on our YouTube later. Thank you again, Aria. You were amazing.
Thank you, Aria. Thank you to all of you who tuned in. This is your permission to laugh at us, laugh at yourself. Take all the parts that hold meaning. The rest, toss them out. We don't
Get
care.
the fuck out.
We hope to see you next month. We will be back next month. We're back to month. We hope to see you then. And just remember, this is all made up.
Go with grace.
Bye.